are back, and we're actually real happy because we're wearing really funky gloves, and that means we are here with we're here with Ingrid Fan, and she is a registered dietitian from Zehrs, and she is here to tell us how we can actually fight this flu season way better by eating better and
after we get the flu shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yes.
Taking care of ourselves. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's always good.
Yeah,
always
and
good.
so obviously we're talking about flu, and as Adele previously mentioned, the flu shot is one of the ways that you can, proceed to make sure that you don't get the flu during the flu season. But as a registered dietitian, I like to do also the whole foods approach as well. So Canadians are very apt to taking the flu shot, but research has shown that only 2% of Canadians actually look and consider their diet as a prevention method as well. Only 2%.
Wow, that's staggering.
Yeah,
2%?
yeah. And so believe it or not, eating well and eating healthy is also a really good way to boost your immunity and making sure that you don't get sick during the season as well.
For sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And you have some of our favorite fruit pieces there. So you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so I'm here today to tell you about, 3 main ingredients or vitamins and minerals that you want to focus on during the flu season, just to, for overall better health, but also just to boost your immunity as well. So obviously during the flu season, the first thing you think of is vitamin C, very, very popular.
Yeah.
So mainly you do get vitamin C from fruits for sure. So things like strawberries over there, you get pineapple, oranges. We have some dragon fruit here, a little bit more exotic fruit that has a lot of vitamin C content. But a lot of people forget your vegetables.
Okay, and before you move to that though, when you're talking about vitamin C, what about if somebody says, I take a supplement? What's your response to that?
I would say try to get it from Whole Foods as much as possible.
Okay.
Supplements are more to really supplement your diet in case you're not getting them from certain foods. If you're on a certain diet, so if you're, I'm vegan and I don't eat meat products, then you want to make sure you supplement with iron, with B12. But if you're able to get through foods and you eat a variety, that's the best way for you to kind of absorb all the nutrients. And so for vitamin C, fruits is one thing, but there's only so much fruit that you can really eat because of the fruit sugars, right?
Yes.
So there is one very important vegetable that a lot of people neglect, which is your peppers. So your bell peppers actually have 2 to 3 times the amount of vitamin C that a medium-sized orange has.
Wow.
That is pretty incredible.
And if you look at them too, is a sign of it the color?
Yes, so the more color, the more variety of colors, the better it is. So things like red, yellow, and orange peppers are kind of the main ones that you want to focus on. And obviously eating them raw is important as well. When you do cook it, the vitamin C content does decrease a little bit. You're still getting some, better than nothing, but you want to try and keep it raw as much as possible.
Now, I find that when you're talking about peppers, the yellow, the orange, and the red are milder taste than the green. Is that just my brain, or is that for real?
No, it's depending on the color as well. You do get different beta carotenes and things like that in there, so that's what changes what the taste is.
Okay.
But generally, a lot of people tend to like colorful ones because they're more sweet. So in a way, you're still getting your vitamin C content, but not the sugar content that you might be getting from 3 oranges, let's say, right? And so today we do have a fabulous 3 pepper salad. So keeping it raw, obviously, very easy to do, very colorful here. In order for you to add a little bit of color of green as well, you can definitely put green peppers in there if you like. Today I'm just using parsley, so I'll have you, Linda, to dump that in. Super easy to do.
All right.
Gives it wonderful color. And then lastly, we have this mixture of sesame oil, rice vinegar, and red onions as well.
Oh, okay.
So this kind of kills a little bit of the spiciness that some of the red peppers or
No
red onions, sorry. No salt, so red onions, sometimes they have a little bit of a kick, so some people aren't the biggest fans, so just dump that all in. Dump that whole thing in there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, beautiful. These are beautiful.
So just have you mix that together.
So did you marinate the onion for some time in the dressing? Because they look really nice and
pink. Yeah, so this is actually one of the ways that gives it a little bit of a nicer color, but also takes the kick, the little bit of the heat of the red onions that you normally would get. So you can either add hot water to it and just let it sit for a little bit and then drain the water out. It gets rid of that. Or you can do a little vinegar and a little bit of oil, and this is what I did. And that gives a really, really nice way for you to tang up your onions a little bit, but also just to give a little bit of zing to your
Love it.
the 3-pepper salad.
We're going to try this going towards the commercial break, but tell me, you also have some cheese there on the side.
Yeah, so this is an option. This is some feta cheese. It's really up to you if you're, like to have a little bit more zing, a little bit more salt, into the salad. Generally, as a dietitian, I always say try to manage the amount of salt you put in your foods. So through the vinegar, that's where you can get a lot of your flavor. But if you really like a little bit of a little sass in there, a little bit more white color, you can definitely do that as well. Nice. So I would just leave it on the side, and if you guys want to top it up afterwards, definitely.
That's lovely.
Perfect.
So tell me about this, because this is not something that I'm familiar with at all.
Yeah, so the second thing is probiotics. So a lot of people are always telling me, oh, I have stomach issues, digestive issues. Other than eating a lot of fiber, I always tell people, how is your gut bacteria? So you want to try and boost your immunity by having a lot of the good gut bacteria and not so much of the bad gut bacteria, making sure you keep that at bay. So kefir is actually a probiotic fermented milk. And generally you do have it plain and you do have it in different flavors, but I always encourage everyone to try and go for plain as much as you can.
Which is this one.
And do your own concoction. So you can put in a smoothie, add it with frozen fruit, and make it into a smoothie. It's a better way rather than getting a mango flavored or vanilla bean flavored, because there's a lot of hidden added sugar content in there. We also do have kefir that is in a yogurt form, so that is a new product. So this is more apt for maybe children who don't necessarily like to drink it, because it's a little bit sour in terms of the plain one, but this is very similar to the yogurt texture.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, and tell me about this last grouping too, because this is important to include in your diet as well, yes?
So the third thing is zinc. So zinc is a mineral that not necessarily helps you to prevent the flu. It does as well, but definitely more effective if you have cold and flu symptoms, that if you take zinc within 24 hours, it relieves your symptoms. So that's really, really a key ingredient and key factor to kind of add into your diet and key ingredients. So things like seafood is a good way as well. So we have sockeye salmon there, budget friendly. We do also have beans as well, so don't forget your legumes. Yes, and we also have nuts and seeds. So walnuts, almonds, as well as pumpkin seeds. So do keep in mind that nuts are good, but they're also, they have good fatty acids, like omega-3 fatty acids, but it's also very high in caloric content. So the appropriate amount is already measured out. It is actually a quarter
So this is
cup.
all I'm allowed.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So when I tell people, a handful, I have smaller hands. So I always tell people to try and, measure it out just so you see it's easier to eyeball. It's actually a quarter cup is my hand size, but if you ask my dad, his handful is maybe a couple more quarters added on top of that.
So, and then you have other options here that you can add. So tell me about these two options too, because they're great for adding to stuff.
Yeah, so these are the new PC Blue menu, kind of super grain. So the far right you have is a mix of pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, as well as a little bit of flax seeds. So that's great for adding into smoothies, so maybe adding to your kefir. And then this one over here, it's a blend of hemp seed, flaxseed, and chia seed. So those are all the good, healthy omega-3 fatty acid seeds that you can add to your smoothies, to even your salad right here if you like.
Delicious.
Oatmeal.
Oatmeal, excellent. Sometimes I put them in soups as well. So if you're trying to figure out like, I'm trying to add it to like a stew, a soup.
And how much should you have of this a day?
Generally, you should aim for things like those seeds. 1 tablespoon, 1.5 tablespoons is sufficient enough. You don't have to overdo it. Obviously, if you're adding a lot of fiber, which is what they are, make sure that you stay hydrated and drink a lot of water as well.
So let's serve out the salad, and Linda and I are going to try it. Oh, without forks. Maybe we're not going to try it.
Yeah.
But this is so fabulous. If we're adding in the vitamin C, we're adding in the probiotic, adding in the zinc. We're going to be healthy as all heck.
We are.
Join us back here in a few minutes, and we're going to be back at the table, and we'll be talking about our weekend and such. Thank you.